Om Bhadram Karnebi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhirya Jatraha Sthirairange Istuštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are seeing Gaudapadacharya ji refuting various philosophies, and what he means by that is renouncing various ways in which people have internalized or understood the concept of the highest understanding of God. Over here in Mandukya Upanishad, the very highest understanding of God is revealed in the 7th mantra. It is Prapanchopashamam, where there is not even a trace of duality, not even a trace of the elemental universe, both in the gross and the subtle form. It is Shantam, it is absolute peace. Shivam, it is auspiciousness, awareness. Advaitam, it is the non-dual truth. And this is what he wants to ascertain, that not in the waking state, not in the dream state, not in the deep sleep state, in all these states what is experienced is the dualistic experience of the phenomenal world of objects. And it is not the objective reality, but it is the most subjective, innermost self which continues to exist beyond the realm of the manifested, the unmanifest world. And this subjective presence never ever comes to manifest, for it transacts utilizing the various equipments, the gross equipment of the body and the subtle equipment of the mind and the intellect. And that very subtle intelligence is not just within me, but it is within all beings. And not just all beings, but that subjective presence is the presence upon which the entire dualistic phenomenal world is projected. And it is projected by whom? It is projected by me. And it is sustained where? It is sustained in me. And it is experienced where? It is experienced in me. So Gaudapadacharya ji says that the world doesn't have any independent existence apart from me. It is in fact projected by me, it is upheld by me, it is sustained by me, and into me are the experiences, within me are the experiences which are born out of this world, projected by me, but they are not apart from me, they are within me. And that subjective presence itself is the absolute understanding. This is what Mandukya Upanishad says as God. It is consciousness, it is presence. And this presence has been the subject of debate since the beginningless time. This little boy Nachiketa in one Upanishad, Kathopanishad, says that some people say it is and some people have said it is not. So those who have said it is, over here Gaudapadacharya ji addresses all those people who say it is, but they qualify that it is like this, it is like this, it is like this. In that way is what we are seeing over here. 23 we saw that some people say that this consciousness, this principle of God, sukshma iti sukshma vidaha, sthula iti tadvidaha, murta iti murta vidaha, amurta iti cha tadvidaha. So sukshma iti sukshma vidaha, the Naiyayikas, the Vaisheshikas, the very scientific community has its own understanding, and the extension of that scientific community over here in Vedanta, those Astikyavadins, that yes it is, but it is Anu Paramanu. Kanadrishi is the very drashta of this entire philosophy. So this Naiyayikas and the Sankhya, Nirishvara Sankhya-vadin, they also address this as the very rudimentary stuff in which Pradhan exists in this way. All these ideas, that very subtle is at the atomic level, it exists. Sthula iti tadvidaha. There are Jain darshan, the Shvetambara darshan over here is what is negated. They believe in the existence, but their existence of Atma is like whatever the size of the sthula vastu is, that is the size of Atma. So elephant being a very large, it's a very large Atma. The ant being a very tiny one, it is a very tiny Atma. And human being between the two of them, that Atma is in between the two of them. In this way they have such understanding. Murta iti murta vidaha, the ones who are continuously involved in the idol worship. The ideal behind the idol is not understood, and they take the idol as the absolute, and the worship itself becomes the mode of existence, the understanding, that path itself, taking that upasana itself to be the goal. And amurta iti tadvidaha, the shunyavadins, the ones who say that it is amurta, it doesn't exist, not even in the formless state. So the shunyavadins of the Bauddha darshan that he takes in the 4th chapter, Alata Shanti, he exclusively refutes when all of the philosophies are negated. It comes to the Bauddha and says that you guys say it isn't, well it is, and the existence is known as consciousness. So in that way he will take. Continuing 24. Kala iti kala vido, disha iti tadvidaha, vada iti vada vido, bhuvanani iti tadvidaha. So kala iti kalvidaha. There are people who believe in time, that only in time it happens, the world of astrology, that there is time for everything, there is time for the arrival of truth, and if the truth arrives in that particular time, it is revealed. only in that time, and anything outside time, it doesn't exist. So those people who consider time to be the the great arrival of Atma, so they say in time, if it arrives, then time is of the essence, and time is considered to be highest reality. Disha iti tadvidaha. And then there are people, Disha, the Vastu and the Feng Shui and all those things, that only in proper direction this arrives. All those things are there. Vada iti vadvidaha. So the alchemist, their understanding of the truth is that material has to be just perfect, and that perfection of that matter itself is considered to be the truth. And these are the spheres of existence of truth when that absolute conducive matter is produced, and in that alone exists this Bhagavan. So this Vada iti Vadvidaha. So there are different the alchemists and the magicians and all those things, those people who are capable of creating the illusion of making people believe that this particular Atma is right over here in this way. In matter they invoke it, and some people they invoke spirits and they show that arrival of that spirit right over there in that matter when they make a leaf move, or they make a little stone move, or they can make some whatever it is, a feather right. All those things are different vadas about it. Bhuvananiti tadvidaha. Some people say that it is in the worlds. Bhagavan exists in various worlds, this loka, and people do so many things in this world to register a seat in that world where they think Bhagavan exists. But over here in this world they do various types of austerity to reach. They think Bhagavan is available in the reach of the world. So in this way there are people who declare, and the Vedas also talk about the 14 worlds of Bhu Bhuva Swa Mahajana Tapas Satyam, Atala Sutala Vitala Talatal Rasatala Mahatala Patal, and all these 14 worlds, that Bhagavan is available in various gradations, and in the highest world the highest Bhagavan is known. So all sorts of understanding people have. Manaiti mano vido, buddhiriti tadvidaha, vittam chittamiti chittavido, dharma dharmau cha tadvidaha. So mana, some people say that mind. So there are the materialist philosophy, there is a little bit more than Charvak, the material philosophy, as well as a shakha of Bauddha, and for them it is manaiti manavidaha. There are even, for example, certain amount of certain portion of the bhakti sampradaya, that the mind has to be doped in love of Bhagavan. It's called prema bhakti, and there are so many sects of bhaktas in Maharashtra, it is there, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, and so many other places where they say that Bhagavan is available in bhakti, and that bhakti is a bhavana of the mind. So without mind you cannot have, so mind is everything. Only in mind that Bhagavan arrives. Mana iti mana vidaho. They think that mind is the absolute. Not just that, some people, a particular line of Buddhist philosophy known as the Kshanika Vijnanavadins. And Kshanika meaning momentary, Vijnanavadins, where that thought of arrival of Bhagavan is there. They think of the Kshanika Vijnanavadins give an example that when we have a little oil lamp, in that oil lamp there is a wick and that wick is doped in oil, and little quantity of oil runs up the wick, burns and goes away. It runs up the wick, burns and goes away, burns up the wick and goes away, and in no time the little crucible, the container in which that oil lamp is, when the oil is burned out, the wick remains over there and the flame burns out. So they say, this Vijnanavadins, that Atma is like that, that this oil which runs up the wick and burns and creates, which is other than the oil and other than the wick, this light which comes out, that is Atma. So as long as the oil is there, Atma is there. So they take care of the mind. They think that in this mind arrives this flame of consciousness, and as the mind is alive, the consciousness is coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, just like it. The little piece of oil comes, burns and goes away, and it is an illusion that a continuous flame is experienced. But that continuum of the flame is as though seen, but it is little bits and pieces of oil which is continuously burning. So everybody has their own understanding. In this mind is this experience of that. So then buddhiriti tadvidaha, then there are people who believe that buddhi is where that light is. So this is extension of that same Kshanika Vijnanavadins, that buddhi is that light which is produced in this mind. Anyway, these are big they have written volumes of books on all these things. Chittamiti chittavidaha, then there are people who, the yogacharas, those believer of various types of yoga philosophies, they say that Bhagavan over here is available in Chitta. And what is this Chitta? The eternal self, the eternal Atma, the eternal Brahman is available in the memory. It is part of the memory, Chittam. And this Bhagavan, this truth is memory itself. And how does this memory work? This Chittam is invoked by the karma vasanas. And the karma vasanas become the cause of this Bhagavan to arrive. Because of that, the mind becomes alive. So, karma vasanas and the vasana created prarabdha, all this alone is Bhagavan. Without this, there is no Bhagavan. So, consciousness is only available over there, and outside it is not there. So they think that vasana, karma, prarabdha is a big thing, and chittam becomes the very cause, that memory which holds the vasanas, which holds the prarabdha, all those things. We try to study this, all these different philosophies, whatever we believe, we also lose it. It is what all things people think. And then dharma, adharma iti tadvidaha. These are the Purva Mimamsakas. And then Jaimini, the whole Karma Kand. What is Karma Kand? Dharma and adharma. All karma does is it reveals to us a lot of punya. Punya is what is important. You cultivate as much punya as you can, you cultivate as many merits as you can. So dharma. And Atma is available only in dharma. And because of that, colossal activity is done. So this is a Purva Mimamsa, and actually Vedanta is the Uttara Mimamsa. So over here is rituals are what is talked about, that this punya and papa, dharma is only juxtaposed next to adharma, and we are supposed to stay as much away from adharma as possible. So do as much dharma as you can, so as many karma as you can, and this alone will become your saving grace. But anyway, both of them, dharma can only be dharma when there is adharma, and adharma is only adharma because you have some measuring stick to measure it. So the measurement becomes dharma. When only something is right, then wrong can be understood as wrong. And when there is something wrong, then only right can be understood as right. So both right and wrong, they cannot both be absolute. They both negate one another. So they have these understandings of the eternal principle existing in the dual pair of dharma adharma. So that is Panchavimshaka ityeke Shadavimshati chapare Ekatrimshaka ityahuhu Ananta iti chapare. Now Panchavimshaka iti eke. Some people eke say that what is Atma? Atma is revealed in these 25 categories, and this is what is known as the Sankhya Darshan. And this is Kapil Maharshi Ji's Sankhya Darshan, the Sankhya philosophy. And over here Gurudev has talked about it, that what they think about in Sankhya is the Mula Prakriti. And this rudimentary stuff of universe and Atma, it holds the entire secret of what we are experiencing. So that Mula Prakriti, she herself undergoes the modification which is known as Vikruti. So Prakriti goes through Vikruti, and the Vikruti over here are known as the 7 Vikrutis which come out. The 5 Panchamahabhutas in their rudimentary state without going through any type of grossification. So at a very subtle level, the 5 elements, and the main thing is known as the Mahat Tattva, and the Mahat Tattva is the intelligence, and there is a cosmic intelligence, and then there is an individual intelligence. The individual intelligence over here is the ahankar, egoism, and this Mahat Tattva is the intelligence which comes out. Then these 7 Vikruti, they go through Vikara, they go and become more and more grossified for this gross world to exist, and Bhagavan exists in this. So the 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception, then the 5 objects of experience are coming out. So all of these come out, and the subtle aspect of the Pancha Mahabhut, the 5 element, still a subtle aspect remains for experience, which they call the Manas, mind. So this is how they've come up with these 25. So all that is written over here. Then 26, Shat Vimshati iti Chapare. So that is the yoga philosophy, adds one more. So Sankhya, that was Nir Ishvara Sankhya, is 25. So yoga philosophy, Patanjali Maharshi ji comes and says, no, you forgot one. And we require the one who looks after the whole, and he is called Ishwar. So Ishwar is added in the Shat Vimshati, and it becomes 26. So yoga philosophy. Then some people come and say, no, this is Ekatrimshaka, actually 31. So then I'm not going to go through all those, they are all written over here. So they come up with all these 31 factors, and there are the 36 tattvas are there. 31 tattvas, 36 tattvas, and from here is born the Kashmiri Shaivites philosophy. So all those, this Raga, Vidya, Kala Kalaha, Maya, Niyati, they go into such detailed explanation about how the whole universe comes out. Lokan lokavida prahuhu.
Lokan lokavida prahuhu.
Ashrama iti tadvidaha.
Ashrama iti tadvidaha.
Stri pumna pumsakam lingaha.
Stri pumna pumsakam lingaha.
Para paramatha pare.
Para paramatha pare.
So others, they come and say, Lokan, Loka iti lokvidaha. Some people say, Prahuhu, they declare, what do they declare? Lokan, people, Lokvidaha, knowers of people. They say that the highest understanding of God, people are God. So work with people. This is wonderful understanding. So those who only know how to please others, because the other person is God, so treat them as God, so please them. So please the worlds, please over here, not the world, loka, but loka. So literally beings over here, because the world of denizens of a collection of people were already talked about. So over here, individuals, so make others happy, because that is God. Ashrama iti tadvidaha. Some people come and say that the 4 ashramas in which people live, so a vargashrama and varnashrama, Bhagavan is available in there. So all those, and what is talked about over here, Gurudev also mentions that the the one who actually created Praja. In Bhagavatam, stories are there. Brahmaji created first Sanat Kumaras, and then Sanat Kumaras, they were so much endowed with sattva. So because they were endowed with sattva, then it is said Brahmaji created Narad Muni, and Narad Muni had Rajas and Sattva. So all he wanted to do is with Rajas sing the glory of Sattva, and that's all he did. So Brahmaji finally said, this is not going to work, I am going to have to use Tamas. So he created being with Tamas and gave just very little amount of Rajas and Sattva, and that is Daksha Prajapati. And Daksha Prajapati, when he created the Praja, he created this Vargashrama and Varnashrama, that some people have more Sattva, so they are called Brahmanas. Some people have Rajas, Sattva Pradhan, Rajo Pradhan, Sattva Avantar and all those things, so Kshatriya, all those things. So the categorization was done, and as the category, so is the presence of Bhagavan in them. That's all. So all sorts of ashrama iti tadvidaha, strilinga, pumsa, then napunsakalinga. So grammarians, they reduce the whole world into grammar and said, what is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is, you study grammar, and in the masculine, the feminine, and the neuter gender, Bhagavan remains. So in life, grammar is supposed to be known. Actually, we nahi nahi rakshati dukrun karane, Shankaracharya ji in Bhaj Govindam itself, he says that all these things are not going to come to help, come to Govinda, but one has to have proper understanding of what Govinda is. Only then one can go towards Govinda. If all life we do various nakhra in the name of Govinda, then it doesn't mean that he is going to come. So anyway, this is all grammarians. Para, aparam, atha, apare. So some people say that para, aparam, atha, apare. What is Bhagavan? Bhagavan is that nirguna, saguna, Brahman. When we say apara, it is a lower Brahman, lower Atma. What is meant by lower Atma? That Atma is known in the lower states with the presence of the gunas of Prakriti. And when gunas of the Prakriti are there, the guna predominantly which is invoked as Saguna appears as that particular God. A Sattvic God Upasana is done, the Sattvic God appears. A Rajoguna Upasana is done, Rajoguna God appears as the Saguna Samadhi of that particular God. And then Para and beyond is the Nirguna Brahman, where all the gunas disappear. And when all disappear, para and apara, what remains is the absolute. Some people have this understanding that consider Brahman to be the manifest or the unmanifest para and apara. And they think of manifest can be understood. Unmanifest can be in two states. A unmanifest which can become manifest in due time, and the unmanifest which will never become manifest. So when we say unmanifest, which unmanifest? Because Prakriti is called unmanifest. That creation is in the unmanifest, because what is manifest is only a part of it. Pado o yasya vishwa bhutani tripada simritam devi. 3/4 is in the unmanifest. What is come about into this world is just a mere fraction of it. So that is why it is said over here that some people understand Brahman to be manifest or unmanifest. But that unmanifest, one is the unmanifest of Vedanta, which is absolute unmanifest. Consciousness never ever becomes manifest, because if it does, then it would become limited. So that is beyond it. Tatha apare, beyond that. Continuing. Shrustiriti Shrushti Vidaha,
Srishtiriti Srishti Vidaha,
Laya iti Tadvidaha,
Laya iti Tadvidaha,
Stitiriti Stiti Vidaha,
Stitiriti Stiti Vidaha,
Sarve Chehatu Sarvada.
Sarve Chayesatu Sada.
What is there in your book, in the new edition?
Srishtiriti Srishti Vidaha, Laya iti Tadvidaha, Stitiriti Stiti Vidaha, Sarve Cha Ihatu Sarvada.
Okay, correct. Shrushtihi iti Shrushti Vidaha. Some people say that the creationist, they love the fact that Absolute is none other than creation. Creation itself is Bhagavan. So Shrushtihi iti Shrushti Vidaha. Those people considered the creation itself to be the highest. Laya iti cha tadvidaha. And some people believe that the dissolution, when it is dissolved, when the whole creation is resolved back into its rudimentary original state, that is considered to be Brahman and not the manifest. So these ideas are there. Stitihi iti stitividaha. So see, these are the ideas which gave birth to Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, you know. This is how these ideas in the Puranic age came about as the Puranic gods. That's what it is. All the Puranas, they have to come out of some type of philosophy. So, we cannot just laugh this thing off. The whole, Vishnu Puran rests on Sthiti iti Sthiti Vidaha. So, Sthiti Karta, Brahmaji. The whole Shiva Puran, Laya iti cha Tadvidaha. People love the fact that Lord Shiva is the absolute, because when everything is gone, he remains. So, when he remains, he is the God. And from this, the traditions of people who worship this God, they say no, this is higher, and this one says no, this is higher. And even today this fight goes on. So Shrushti iti Shrushti Vidaha, Laya iti cha Tadvidaha, Sthiti iti Sthiti Vidaha, Sarve cha ihatu sarvada. All these ideas are nothing but imagination. All these things, Sarve ihatu sarvada. Iha, here, now, in that Atma itself rests all these differences that they are trying to resolve, where do you think it exists? Everything exists in this Atma, and yet people miss this Atma. Yam bhavam darshayedyasya tam bhavam satu pashyati tam chavati satadbhutva
tam chavati sabhutva
tam chavati sabhutva sau tadagraha samupaiti tam. Yam bhavam darshayet yasya asya bhavam yam darshayet. This type of understanding, when one comes to uphold, apprehend, tam bhavam satupashyati, that idea, that ideology, that particular thought alone, that person comes to believe. Tam chasa asau tam asau avati saha bhutva and when this particular idea one entertains, one comes to believe that, one comes to propagate it to that person. What does it? Avati, they protect. They protect it, meaning they propagate it. They try to distribute. They try to force this idea upon that particular person. So, saha bhutva asau tadgraha samupaititam, and that person becomes the possessor of those ideas. That person becomes the apprehender of that particular philosophy, that particular thought, and that thought prevails. And this is how various ideas, various ideologies have come into existence, they've come into being, and people have created sampradayas based upon it. We have Advaita Sampradaya, we have Vishishta Advaita Sampradaya, we have Dvaita Sampradaya, we have Shuddha Advaita Sampradaya, all these different ones. And they actually believe in it and they propagate it. You go to ISKCON and only that thought is propagated. You start talking about Shiva over there, it is just not even appreciated. So all these type of ideas, that is what Gaudapada Acharyaji is trying to say, that as you think, so you become. And when you become that, you become the propagator of it. You make sure that everybody believes what you believe in. And this becomes actually a point of strain and struggle in the society, because everybody then they have their own ideas, they have their own ideologies, and they hold on to it, and they cannot live with one another. They criticize one another, and that becomes quite difficult. So that's why Gurudev's commentary is very beautiful on this, that whatever our understanding in India, you go within the same state, you go from one village to the other village, the deity changes. The Grama Devata is different, Kula Devata is different, and every deity which changes the traditions are different, and the food offered is different. So when you compare North India to South India, South India to North India, East to West, it looks so different, all in the name of Hinduism. And this is actually even the strength of this dharma, the strength of Hinduism, that all these various philosophies can exist, all these various notions of God can exist, and they can even come to live in harmony if they understand that what they are actually worshipping in different name and form, what they are worshipping as a tradition, is in fact that absolute alone. So when it was time for Shankaracharya ji to arrive and his advent came about in the 7th century, 6th and 7th century, what had happened is this type of understanding had just taken over, and it was a mass confusion, and people appreciated Buddhism because then we have to throw everything out. Shunya became the path. Oh, nothing is there. That is better. So that Buddhistic philosophy had spread so much, and Shankaracharya ji came and he established, he did not create Advaita. You know, a lot of people say he's Advaitavadi and he created it. No, it's all these Upanishads, who wrote the commentary? His great grand guru has written the commentary. So Advaita has been there even before him. So he simply came and said that, look, we ought to look at what is the common feature. And thus the brilliance of Shankaracharya ji, he actually took a Nambodari from south and he put them in Badrinath and Kedarnath. There are South Indian, let him worship in North India, they will come to see the tradition of worship. And took a North Indian priest and put in Rameshwaram. That you bring your tradition over here. That priest in Rameshwaram temple actually comes from Joshimath. Has to be a North Indian Brahmin born in Himalayas. And the same thing, today you go to Dwarika and you will see people from Bengal over there. So he mixed up all of them just so that people don't become fanatics. What a brilliant sight he had to unify the whole nation on the premise of spirituality. That it serves no purpose for us to destroy each other based upon the idea of God. We all believe God is. Then why don't we celebrate the belief system? So, and at that time, you know, Ramanujacharya and Vallabhacharya and Madhvacharya ji, they came after Shankaracharya ji. So those mathas came much later, and they understood what he had done, that a center from where the ideology has to be propagated. He is the visionary of the matha style presence of an acharya to disseminate wisdom. And that idea, he probably gets it from here, that it is important to hold on to that, because from that seat of abidance itself the philosophy can be propagated. Today also the Shankaracharya-jis go on their Digvijay. Do they need to conquer anything? No. They have gained absolute abidance in the self, and their abidance is what people come to see when they go on all these yatras. Oh, let me look at this person who has Advaita Nishtha. And then Anugrah Bhashya is given little, every day people come and they see. So, this is how the Sampradaya stays established. So, more we will see about how this Sampradaya, because that gives birth to this shloka number 30, which is very important, that who should carry the Sampradaya? Who should be the person who should say that this thought of Atma alone is real? Who has the authority to say that? And that's why in our Mandukya Upanishad, definition of a guru is given. The one who has Shrotriya Brahmanishtha, that who has understood Shastra, who has picked up on the nuances of Shastra, and at the same time has gained the abidance. Only from the standpoint of abidance they have the authority to speak on Shastra. And that's what Gauda Padacharya says in the 30th shloka, and that's why this shloka becomes so important. That very easy to say, this is what God is. Very easy to say Sukshma, Sthula is the Atma. Very easy to say Prakriti is Atma. Very easy to say, but what are your basis of saying it? How do you come to say, we saw so many philosophies. So that's why we have the darshans, Shat Darshan, and each darshan builds on one another. Because an Acharya has come and said, yes, I understand this darshan and I can further this darshan. So the Charvak philosophy was taken, and built upon that was the Nyaya darshan. And Nyaya, logic had to be developed, and it cannot be some hocus pocus logic. Logic has to be solid, everybody has to agree on it. So the Nayayika's logic is used even today. Everybody uses the same Nyaya darshan. And based upon that Nyaya, it is furthered, and Vaisheshika came about. And from that Vaisheshika, we have Sankhya, Ishwarvadi in Sankhya, and Nirishwarvadi Sankhya. So then Kapil Maharshi ji, and then Kapil Maharshi ji was built upon Patanjali ji, Yoga Darshan, that was built upon Jaimini Maharshi ji, that is built upon Vyas Maharshi ji. So we cannot look down upon, people's understanding of what Atma is. There was an ability for one to come to a robust conclusion, because we are leading people to that understanding. Blind will lead people to blindness, that's all. So if a person has to lead, that leader has a incredible responsibility, because if we mislead someone, that is a great hatya actually. To mislead somebody spiritually is a great sin according to Hinduism. So Acharyas have a great responsibility on their shoulders. And we discuss, we are just coming from our this day and age, Chinmaya mission, all sannyasis got together. And we discussed purpose of what are all of us doing in ochre robes and in each center, disseminating and utilizing the title Acharya. So we all decided that is not proper for us to utilize the word Acharya. Let it belong in Sringeri, let it belong in Dwarika, let it belong in Joshimath, let it belong in Puri. They are the Acharyas. So we all gave up our title of Acharya. It's a big thing, not an ordinary thing. Very, very important. So it's just some sannyasi, but yes, we are following a sampradaya set by Sringeri, and we will only call that Acharya. Bas, the one who teaches Prasthanatrayi, and we said in Chinmaya Mission also, the one who presides over teaching sannyasis, that will be an Acharya. Blessed by Sringeri. That's it. So, Gaudapadacharya ji's karikas over here, they are quite powerful. So tomorrow, this is a very important karika, that who is an Acharya. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.